Well, hello, traders. This is Art Dill for FuturesTradingCompany.net or the emini and you can send me an email at info@emini and let me know that you'd like to be in the room for a 2-week free trial, and I'll get you the sign-in information. This was a recap of our trading on April 10th, 2012, and this was a very tough trading day for me. One of the toughest starts to a day I've had in a very, very long time. In the day session, I had 2 nice trades during the Globex, and I'm going to tell you, I had so many trades today, guys, that I'm not going to go over each individual trade. I'm just going to post this recap. This is what happened. I am going to start a section on our trade results page where I'm going to start recording each trade taken and the results of each trade on the trade results page, so that especially for days like this, you'll be able to take a look at that page and know what the trades were and where I got in each trade. After the Globex session, I was really feeling pretty good, and then we got into the day session. The first 3 trades I took 2 longs, 1 short. All 3 were losing trades. So I was down right out of the gate during the day session, 72 points. I was then started also trading started to trade the Nasdaq and made a pretty nice comeback. I went 5-1 on the Nasdaq for plus 38. I ended up minus 71 points on the Dow, so I ended up the day only down 33 Dow points during the day session. But as I say, it was a very tough start. Let me show you the first 3 trades during the day. I got long here. This was just after the open at 6:40, and I had a trigger, and it was actually on the bar that was breaking this little pivot here. So I got long at 12,861. The really mistake I made is that not long after that, we were still in the trade here. This was at 6:47, all right, 7 minutes after I took the long at 12,861. I get a short trigger right here. At the very least, I should have been short at the break of this pivot. 12,853 should have reversed and would have had a very nice short trade. So that was just absolutely a trading mistake I made at the start of the day, and then I made another one here. So I wasn't done making mistakes. This would have been a very nice short. I went ahead and got long again here. I managed to get the high tick of this move, 12,854. As you can see, it just was not my day. I had put my stop in at 12,840, and that's where I got stopped out. And again, guys, short trigger. I did not take the short, and I should have, and I am determined that those kind of trading mistakes are not going to happen in the future. That was a nice trigger. A little bit late, but it was certainly a valid trigger. And again, another really nice short trade here. And looking back on it, I have really no excuse for taking this second long trade. Or, for that matter, missing the first short. And now, lo and behold, instead of being short from up here, I decide after the move is extended down. And the third trade I took was, again, this was a short, and it was a breakout here after we had tried to put in a bottom. It broke this pivot. 12,799 was the short, and obviously that was a stop out. And just mistakes that I made on the 10th were not good. I did fight back. Only ended up down 33 points for the day, but I thought I'd show you those three trades. This is real trading, guys. I do make mistakes, and I do have bad days. Anyone that tells you they never have a losing day, well, frankly, they're just not being honest with you. So that's it. I thought I'd show you those three really bad trades I took on the 10th that caused me to really get in a hole. As I say, I did fight back. Ended up going 5-1 on the NASDAQ for plus 38 points. So I mitigated my loss by basically switching to trading the NASDAQ. I was just a little bit more in tune with that, I guess, and I was taking really good trades on the NASDAQ versus really taking some very questionable trades on the Dow early. So that's it, guys, for the 10th. I'm going to keep the video short. I did show you the three really bummer trades I took early in the morning here, and the recap of the total day of where we ended up. I'm so thankful that the Globex trades really kind of bailed me out overall for the day. Have the great rest of your weekend, and I'll be back in the room on Monday, going at it once again. Come in, join us in the room, guys. Take a look and see what we do. And if you are a night owl, you can join me on the Globex session around 3 a.m. Eastern Time. I'll show you how I'm taking the Globex trades and the really great price movement usually on the Globex. That's it. Have a great weekend. Hi there again, traders. This is Art Dill for FuturesTradingCompany.net or emini-successcoach.com. You can find us on the web under either of those names. Or send me an email, info@emini-successcoach.com to get a hold of me. And you can also Skype me at Art Dill. This is a recap of our trading for April 12th, 2012. And I had a absolutely fabulous Globex session overnight. I did have one member that's been joining me in the room every night, and he's been taking advantage of these trades. I have been talking to TradeStation about the possibility of linking accounts so that I could trade the Globex session for room members via a linking of accounts, and they're working on that right now for me. Let me show you the three trades I took in the Globex. The first was a short, and I consider these now. As you can see, we'd had it opened. The Globex opened here after the close on the 11th, and we ran up. Here was the open at midnight. This was at midnight. That's when I start to look to trade this after the open in Europe. So this first trade was a trigger entry, and I consider that a counter trend entry short. So my targets on that are 5 points, 10 points, and then trailing stop. And what happened was I got to the 10-point target here and then got stopped out back at the entry at 12,799. So I got 5 and 10, 15 points, and then break even on that third contract. The second entry was with the trend, and on these entries I'm looking for 10, 15, then a trailing stop. Once I hit 15 points, I move my stop to plus 5, and that's exactly what happened on this second entry. We got 12, 792 was the entry, 802, 807, that was the 10 and the 15, and then you can see it came back here, stopped me out at 12,797, and that was the end of the trade, plus 30 points on that second trade. This was the third trade that I took, and again I consider this counter trend. Trend at this point in the evening definitely up, so I was looking for counter trend trade here. I got 5, I got 10, and then once I got to the 15 point into the trade, 75, right here. That was a little after 2 o'clock at night. I went ahead and just put on a 15 point trailing stop, and I went to bed. And this is where I got stopped out, 12,778, 15 points from the low here of 12,763. So that was actually a nice counter trend trade, plus 27 points. So on the Globex, I'm just absolutely killing them. 3-0 plus 72 points. What you find at the Globex trading overnight is that the market tends to, once it starts in a direction, it moves quite a few points in that direction and gives you an opportunity to get multiple targets. This was the first Dow trade I took after the open. I had taken 2 NASDAQ trades. The first NASDAQ trade I took at 6:55 a.m. at 27.24 long, 2 contracts, and was stopped out of that at minus 15 points, so a total of minus 30. Then I took another Dow trade at 7:13 a.m. 27.23.50, and got target 27.28.50, and ended up plus 20 points on the second NASDAQ trade. This was the first Dow trade. I got long here at 12.823. And I only was long 1 contract on this. It was a little breakout trade here, and had a stop at 12.843. So I made 20 points on this 1 contract long here on the first YM trade of the day. This was the second Dow trade that I took, and it was at 8:16. Only took it again with 1 contract long. Break out of this little pivot. We got long at 12.894, and I was actually using a 10 point trailing stop on that contract entry, and was stopped out at 12.886. So only lost 8 points on 1 contract on that second Dow trade. This was the third Dow trade that came after a dead zone. Again, it was a nice setup, a retrace here to the 89 EMA after price had broken above it. Price turned back up, a trigger 12.909 was the trigger bar high. We took the entry at 12.910. And I had a target here because we'd been up here at this level. That was my target area, and so I took the contract off. I only traded this with 1 contract, and I got 12.919, which, as you can see, was the exact high of the move. That was my target. So I had plus 9 points on that trade. Frankly, should have been trading more contracts during the day today, but I had such a fabulous Globex session that I was being a little too conservative here during the day session. My last Dow trade was at 11:54. Let me scroll over and show you that one. Here it is. It was 12/9/21. Again, it was a trigger entry. The program entry was 9:20. I actually got a 9:21 fill on that, and I again was using a 10-point trailing stop. So I was stopped out of that at 12/9/14 for minus 7 points. So that was it on the Dow trading. Actually, two for two. The two losses I had were very small, and so I ended up plus 14 points on the Dow trades, and then I had 4 NASDAQ trades. I was 2 for 2 on the NASDAQ, but I had the one big losing trade of 30 points, so I ended up minus 26 points on the NAS trading for the 12th. That's the recap. I'm not going to pull the NASDAQ over here. The first trade I took on the NASDAQ, which was at 655, was really a mistake. We had a big run up after the open, and I should have waited for the retracement, and that was the second trade I took, which was after the retracement had occurred, which was plus 20 points on that trade, lost 30 on the first one. So just a little over anxious to try to get involved in the market that looked like it was just going to run away and hide from us. But that's real trading, guys. I do make mistakes, and but I also make some really good trades. And the one great thing that you see in our room, if you come in and take a look, is that you actually see my trading dome. You see we put the trades on in real time, and you see my triggers that I developed here fire off in real time. That's it for the recap for the 12th of April. Have a great night, everyone, and hope to see you next week in the room. Well, hi there again, traders. This is Art Dill for FuturesTradingCompany.net or emini-successcoach.com for a recap of our trading for April 13th, 2012. Had a quietly good day today. I ended up net plus 45 points. We were 1-1 during the Globex session for only 7 points, but I was 5-0 during the day session today for plus 38 points. Many of those trades were with only one contract. The two trades I had in the Globex were both short. The market, let me scroll over just a little bit here. This was the start of the Globex session, then it sold off. Everything was pointing down, so I was taking trades to the downside. This was a trigger entry. The first entry got short at 12,910, 1 point under the trigger bar. I was using a 15-point trailing stop on this trade, and that actually stopped me out at 12,916 for a total of minus 18 points on the first trade. Then here's the next entry. Again, it was a trigger entry. There's the trigger bar. I took the entry at the break of the pivot that was formed just prior to the trigger bar. So we got short at 12,903. Got two targets, 10 points and 15 points. Once we got our 15 points, which was actually right the low of the move, well, one tick above the low of the move, moved my stop to plus 5 on the last contract, and that was stopped out at 12,898. So total of plus 25 points, and frankly at that point your coach was just too tired and he went to bed. there was, after a nice pattern entry here later that I was not up for, we had made a little higher pivot high here, put in a lower pivot low, and then we had a trigger fire here. That would have been a nice entry to the upside. But I was not up, didn't take it, and that was all of the trading in the Globex last night, 2 trades. The first trade I took during the day session was right here shortly after the open. Market internals were negative and getting more negative as the minutes wore on. This was the impetus for the trade was a trigger. We had 2 triggers firing here, but I took it on the breakout of this little pivot, 12,879. We got 872. That was actually the low of the move, and then it came back up and stopped us out at 879. So took that with 2 contracts plus 7 points. And then the next trade I took was also a breakout trade. Really, this was the low of the session thus far. This 872. So again, we took the short. I did have a trigger firing here, but I took it as a breakout of the low of the day thus far at 12,871. Because it was a breakout trade, I only took that with 1 contract short. That was at 6:37 Pacific time. I had a 10-point target, 869. I'm sorry, 871 was the short over here. 861 was my target. And it took a little while, but we finally got down to a low of 859. So I got my target here at about 639. So only a couple minutes after we got into the trade, we got our 10-point target. And then, as you can see, the price turned back and started to move higher. Drew this arrow. This was a valid short trigger. I missed that trade. I was looking at taking it, but when it fired off, it did it very, very quickly, and I just simply missed getting into that trade. That would have been a nice short. The next short I took was over here at 7:34, and again it was a trigger firing here and a breakout of this little pivot. We got short at 12,823. Took that short with 2 contracts. It was a nice pattern coming up here, tagging the 89 EMA and then the trigger. But we got 1 target. Exited at 816, and then that was it. The price turned back up and stopped us out at break even on the second contract. Might see a pattern developing here for the day. As you can see, I was only taking shorts. Again, this was a short. It was a break of a pivot after we had short trigger firing. Only took this with 1 contract and got short at 12,844 and out at 837. It got to a low of 832, but I only had 1 contract on, and so we took our 7 points, and I felt good about that. And the last trade of the day was after dead zone. Came at 10:54 Pacific time, 1:54 on the East Coast. And again, trigger entry here and the breakout of this pivot. The nice setup for us. We got short at 862. And again, I only took that with one contract, and the got a 7-point target, and that was the trading for the day. Because of it being Friday, I really was pretty conservative on the number of contracts I was trading. Uh, I talked to the people in the room about taking this trade. I think one of my room members did take it. This is, again, was a trigger entry 12,848, and it actually got to 858 before rolling back over. And then later, I was away from my desk, but this was a nice trigger entry here. Toward the end of the day. But I did want to trade Friday afternoon, so I wasn't trading at the time. But we had a pretty big sell-off on that trigger right there. So that was the trading for April 13th, including the Globex, 2 Globex trades. I took 7 trades overall, 6 and 1, plus 39. Plus 45 Dow points, 38 during the day session, and then 7 on the Globex. So all in all, an okay day, not a spectacular one. We'll look forward to seeing some of you in the room next week. And because of my schedule right now, getting up at midnight here on the West Coast during the week, I have fallen behind on my recaps. I will get them caught up. I owe 3 more for the week. I'll get those up there this week, and I'll post the record for the week onto the website. We had another good week of trading. So for Futures Trading Company, this is Art Dill, Trading to Win. Hope you join us in the room. Watch these triggers firing off in real time, and you can watch me trade as I put my trades on. You see my trading dome at all times, so you know exactly what the entries are going to be, where my stops are, and what my targets are. Have a great weekend, everybody. Look forward to seeing you next Monday.